This is the 2021 5 Series, which basically is the facelifted version of the car that was launched 4 years back. Now, the BMW has always known to have a great mix of comfort and sportiness. But with the changes on the new one, it promises to be even better. So here are 16 things that you need to know about this car. Let's start with the most obvious change. The 5 Series now gets BMW's big kidney grille. But thankfully it isn't as big, say, as the BMW M3 or the M4. And to my eyes, this grille looks just about right when you consider the size of this car. The headlamps are now slimmer and you get this L pattern for the LED DRLs. Apart from that, all the variants come with adaptive matrix LED headlamps as standard. Yes, in the M Sport variant, you also get an extra module, laser LED, which can throw light up to 650 meters, which, to give you some perspective, is well beyond that hill. The tail lamps are new as well, and the L pattern which you see on the headlamps are present in the tail lamps as well. Apart from that, because of the blacked out portion, the tail lamps appear slimmer and more aggressive. So the car we have on test is the 530i, which comes with the M Sport package. That includes an aggressive looking front bumper with a pointy chin and mesh pattern for the large air intakes. Lightweight 18-inch alloy wheels with blue brake calipers. A new diffuser under the rear bumper, which according to BMW also aids airflow. Twin tailpipes are standard regardless of the variant you buy. I'm not really sure if a 530i buyer wants his car to be mistaken for a less powerful 520d. With the facelift, you get two new color options. First one is the Photonic Blue Metallic, which is this one, and Bernina Grey. The interiors of the 5 Series has the right mix of sportiness and luxury. And not only that, it feels solidly built, and wherever you touch or feel, the materials are flawless. With the facelift, the buttons on the center console have a satin finish as compared to the black on the old car. And at first glance, seem to be made out of metal, but they are actually plastic. With every new car, the screens are getting bigger, and the 5 is no different. In this car, you get a massive 12.3-inch infotainment system, which can be controlled through this knob over here, or by touchscreen, or by gesture control, or by voice command. Play radio.
Of 104.
But I have to say, this iDRIVE system is one of the best in the business. The screen is crisp, it's high-res, and despite it having loads of features, it is actually quite easy to use. For added comfort, now you get 4 zones of climate control, which helps make all 4 passengers feel cozy and comfortable. Sensatec perforated trim. Sounds fancy, right? What it actually means is perforated synthetic fabric. It looks like leather, but it isn't. This fabric is exclusive to the M Sport variant and also these sport seats. You get adjustable under-thigh support. You also get adjustable side bolsters, which help you keep in place when the driver is in the mood to have some fun. If someone has parked too close to your car and there's not enough room to get in the driver's seat, you can remotely move the car and get in. With the help of front and rear parking sensors, it also steers away from obstacles or brakes automatically to avoid collision. You get the same engine options as the old 5. There are 2 diesel engine options, a 2-litre 4-cylinder 190 PS motor or a torquey 3-litre straight-six engine making a whopping 265 PS. If you want a sporty 5, then you can go for the petrol, which is powered by a 2-litre turbo petrol engine that makes a healthy 250 PS of power. We have the petrol version on this test. Being a sporty petrol engine, you might think that this car will have an awesome exhaust note, right? Rev it up. Boring. For similar amount of money, you can also get the 340i and it sounds like this. On the go, this 4-cylinder engine, however, manages to put a wide smile on your face thanks to its meaty power delivery. Even in Eco Pro mode, this engine feels smooth but punchy. In fact, the smart onboard navigation system tells the gearbox to select the right gear at the right time depending on the road ahead to keep your progress as smooth and as efficient as possible. But it's in sports mode where the 530i really comes alive. Sure, it doesn't have a high-tech dual clutch transmission, but the 8-speed torque converter on this car is fast. And in fact, the way this engine revs all the way to the 7,000 RPM red line, it's such a joy. The adaptive dampers too in sports mode give this car great poise around corners. The steering is accurate and you can really have a lot of fun with this car around corners. The ride quality in sports mode really surprises you. Yes, you do feel some of the stiffness, but it is comfortable. And when you switch to comfort mode, you would ideally want to be seated here because in comfort mode, the dampers slacken off and ideally it should give you a more comfortable ride, right? It's a yes and no. At really low speeds, yes, it feels softer and more comfortable, but on the move, there's quite a bit of side-to-side motion because of which it doesn't really feel as comfortable as in sport mode, surprisingly. And the suspension too tends to crash through deep potholes as it runs out of travel quite easily. The rear seat too, yes, it's comfortable, there's enough amount of space and the bench itself is nice and cozy. But when you compare it to something like a 6 Series or even the new E-Class, it doesn't have the sense of space or the luxury that those two cars offer. But again, you should also remember that those two cars aren't even close when it comes to sportiness as compared to this car. So our time is almost done with the car and I would have loved to do the wrap up from outside the traditional way, but unfortunately, as you can see, the weather is really bad and I can't really do that. But we are going to get this car again for a proper comparison, and overall, to sum this car up, it is exactly what we expected it to be. Like before, this car still has a great blend of sportiness and comfort, but now with all the small changes and the details, this car is that much closer to being almost perfect.